What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got a top 10 list to do for you guys, and I'm going to be counting down my top 10 albums of 2016. Yeah, it's finally come to this. It's finally come to this very, very big moment. 2016 has been quite an interesting year, to say the least bit. A lot of triumph, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of good things, a lot of bad things. But one thing to take away from a year like this has been a very, very high dominance of extreme music from within the metal world. Lots and lots of great bands, memorable debuts, comebacks that nobody saw coming, surprises, mysteries, just a lot of great things. And making a list like this has been incredibly difficult. I mean, I'm doing a top 10 list specifically here. I would have made it a two-part video, but I just didn't feel I didn't have the time to do it. But yeah, here we are. A lot of difficulty deciding this list, but I'm very satisfied with what I have here and what I'm going to be talking to you about here. So, before I get into the list, into the top 10 of the year, let me say a couple of things first. First of all, I'm going to be dedicating this list to my buddy Canyon, who is currently desecrating Europe at the moment. I hope you're having a good time, and I hope you come back here safely so we can talk about it. And since I'm only doing a top 10, let me run down 20 through 11 for you really quickly. Number 20 is Scoff with Scoff 2. Number 19, Eternal Champion, The Armor of Ire. Number 18, Haunter, Threnaudia. Number 17, Inherent Disease, Ephemeral. Number 16, AMSG, Hostis Universi Generis. Number 15, Black Funeral, Anku in the Deathfire. Number 14, Inquisition, Bloodshed Across the Empyrean Altar Beyond the Celestial Zenith. Number 13, Autocrator with the Obedience to Authority. Number 12, Our Place of Worship is Silence, the Embodiment of Hate. And number 11, Mortem with Danos Necromantis. So that's the first part of that list. Now that I got that out of the way, I got 10 records to show you here. Some CDs, some records. Reminder, this list is opinion, not fact. This is my list, not yours. Let's get this party started. Coming in at number 10, The Dillinger Escape Plan, Dissociation. Kind of a wild card to throw into this whole list, but I have very good reason to throw something like this into my top 10. If this is going to be the final album from this band, if they're going to all go their separate ways, and this was what we have to listen to as far as their last album is concerned, then I would consider something like Dissociation a triumph. This band is very, very pioneering in multiple ways than one. Their musical style, their stage presence, their attitude, their passion, their drive, their hunger. This band has been at it for almost 20 plus years, and to see them conclude what they've worked so hard for with a release like Dissociation is very satisfying. I mean, their most recent output has been really solid with albums like Option Paralysis and One of Us is the Killer. But I honestly think they have topped both of those records with Dissociation, and in turn, quite frankly, made one of the best pieces of music in their entire body of work. I mean, everything you would know and love about a Dillinger Escape Plan releases on an album like Dissociation, from the frantic riffing, Greg Puciato's amazing vocal ranges, from his growls, his screams, to his singing, to the unexpected moments you really wouldn't see coming on a release like this, but you wouldn't really be surprised because they would go those routes with the electronic elements, the jazz breaks, the distortion. It's just really, really intense. I mean, listening to songs like Low Feels Boulevard, Honeysuckle, Symptom of Terminal Illness, there's just a lot of great songwriting to be heard on a release like this, and the Dillinger Escape Plan have really called it a day with a record like this, and I honestly think that I don't think they have anything else to prove at the moment. I think they've reached their pinnacle and apex with an album like Dissociation. This is probably some of the best stuff the Dillinger Escape Plan has ever done, in my opinion, and if you are familiar with their works, and if you're a fan of them, you'll find something to enjoy with Dissociation. So that's number 10 on my list, Dissociation by the Dillinger Escape Plan. Coming in at number 9, Alterage with Nil. One of the many, many great debut albums to come out in 2016 to make a very, very big impact on me musically and creatively. I mean, this band is based out of Spain, and they put out a really impressive demo early on in their existence, but once they came out with an album like Nil, that's when the game began to change drastically for a band like this. I mean, their sound is just so dynamic and suffocating. They're very much taking the realms of both black metal and death metal into creating a sound and presentation that's just so awe-inspiring, almost intimidating to a sense. When you hear opening songs like Drevisit and Warmboros, to songs like Baptism Nil and Vortex Pyramid, it's just really, really amazing stuff that you hear from a band like this. I mean, really, really incredible lyrics, great vocal work, tight-knit riff work and drumming. I mean, it's just very piercing stuff. And it almost gives off that sort of ominous Portal-esque sort of mentality going on with their sound. I mean, if you're into a band like that, then I wouldn't see you not being into a band like Alterage. This band has their own distinctive sort of sound, but yet you can tell the kind of elements that influence a band like this and an album like Nil. This is really something very special, and I'm glad an album like this exists. I'm glad a band like this exists, and I'm very curious to know what the next steps are going to be for a project like this. Are they going to evolve their sound? Are they going to take what they have and make things even scarier? There's just a lot of questions to be asked, and I'm pretty sure Alterage will have the answers in the very near future. So, number 9 on my list is Nil by Alterage. Go support this. Coming in at number 8, Black Fucking Cancer with Black Fucking Cancer. I've said this to a bunch of my friends about this album, but I may as well tell you. This album is as close as we're ever going to get to hearing a new Catharsis record. This band embodies what Catharsis did with their earlier records and gets a lot more devastating and a lot more savage. If I could think of a word to describe an album like Black Fucking Cancer, it is definitely savage. The vocal roaring, the guitar playing, the songwriting, it is very, very elaborate. It's a very lengthy album, but you get your money's worth with an album like this. I mean, listening to songs like Sigil of Burning Flesh, Sin Ritual Void, which I would consider one of the best songs of the year, to Wall of Corpses, just some brilliant, brilliant songs being done on a release like this. There's just a lot of things going on for a band like Black Fucking Cancer. Ever since that demo they put out not too long ago to the debut album that I'm talking to you about here, Black Fucking Cancer, sky's the limit for a project like this. And I guess one thing I would have liked to have known is what the hell the lyrics were all about, because if you've ever opened the booklet or read the booklet, you have all these codes and almost hieroglyphic sort of stuff going on. I would have loved to have known what the lyrical content of a band like this is, but I'm almost certain that it's very nihilistic and misanthropic, and I wouldn't expect any less from a band like Black Fucking Cancer with an album like this. But yeah, as I've said before, this has been a very, very amazing year for debut full-lengths, and Black Fucking Cancer is one of the high top of the food chain level albums to come out in 2016. So number 8 on my list is Black Fucking Cancer with the self-titled album Black Fucking Cancer. Go buy this wherever you're able to buy it, in any format. Coming in at number 7, Embalmer, Emanations from the Crypt. I won't really say too much than what I've already said in my previous review of that album, but I'll just quickly summarize it as best as I possibly can. This is the second Embalmer album, and this is the true definition of what the Embalmer sound is all about. Raw, grisly, ugly, dirty death metal done by a bunch of veterans who love the style of music, play everything wonderfully, and deliver some incredibly memorable songs. I mean, the Embalmer that you heard on their debut is nothing compared to a release like this. Just some this is such a disgusting album. It's so much fun to listen to. This is one of the most fun albums I've listened to probably since the last Archgoat record, the Apocalyptic Triumphator. I had a fun time listening to an album like that. And listening to Emanations from the Crypt brings back that joyous, guiltless fun of listening to death metal. This is an album that makes you appreciate death metal that much more. I mean, when you hear I Am the Embalmer, you hear what a lot of dedication and pride behind a band like this is all about. Seriously, such a fun record to listen to, and I cannot stress enough how happy I am that Embalmer have made such big strides with a release like Emanations from the Crypt. This is such a fun record to listen to. If you're a fan of what Embalmer have put out in the past, their older stuff, you're going to get all of those vibes with a release like Emanations from the Crypt. So that's number 7 on my list, Embalmer with Emanations from the Crypt. Go buy this shit. Coming in at number 6, Blood Incantation, Starspawn. This band has been talked about and hyped up for I don't know how long now. I honestly believe the hype is beyond justifiable. Their sound, their stage presence, their attitude, their dedication to death metal is just very, very real. Having had the privilege of getting to see this band live earlier in the year was probably one of the most fun experiences I've ever had. And then listening to an album like Starspawn really amped up my love and appreciation for this band, because aside from some really great demos and an awesome EP, the best was still to come from Blood Incantation. And the best was definitely with their debut album, Starspawn. So unbelievably ambitious this album is. I mean, if you hear the opening track, Verification of Blood, Part 1, it's just amazing how much time and detail they put into a song like that. Every riff, every vocal pattern, every solo, every drum part, every bass tone, it's just perfect. I love the way that that song sounds, and everything else after that is just amazing. Hidden Species is such a wonderful song. The title track is amazing. Even the instrumental stuff is awesome too. Blood Incantation are definitely gonna be one of those bands that definitely get more attention and more hype, I would say. I wouldn't let hype ruin something for you, because there's always been that long stigma of if a band gets hyped up, it alienates the person from wanting to check them out and listen to them. I say fuck that. Listen to it for yourself. Be your own judge of whether you think it's worthy of being listened to. And with Blood Incantation, you're gonna fall in love with them. I definitely think this band is innovative to death metal, technical death metal. That tightness, that atmosphere, that brilliance, that's what an album like Starspawn brings, and it is just so amazing to listen to. So, number 6 on my list is Starspawn with Blood Incantation, Starspawn. I'm getting speechless here because this album is fucking amazing. Coming in at number 5, Cult de Ghoul, Coven, or Evil Ways Instead of Love. I'm not gonna lie, this was gonna be the last album that I reviewed in 2016 before any of the things that happened. But I'll tell you how I feel about it as quickly as I can here. This is the 3rd full-length album from Cult de Ghoul. They are a Polish black metal band, and this is probably the most ambitious, bold, daring album that they've done yet. This is completely different in comparison to stuff like Haxan and Henbane. This is completely different. This is pretty much a black metal rock opera. Double album, almost 100 minutes in length. It's broken up into 5 different parts. This pretty much reads out like a playbill book from a Broadway show. I mean, if you read the lyrics and definitely get engrossed with the concept and the story behind it, you'll feel amazed and just blown away by what's going on here with a release like Coven. One of the biggest highlights for me of this record is Mark of the Devil's vocals. He does a lot of the vocal variations throughout this entire record. I mean, you can definitely tell he plays a lot of characters throughout this record, this concept piece. It's just phenomenal, and he makes you want to pay attention to what's going on, regardless of how long some of these songs really are. It's captivating, to say the least, and I think the music backs up how captivating an album like Coven is really too. I mean, very intricate guitar playing, great stamina when it comes to the drumming, very, very good production quality going for a release like this. But I gotta once again say, Mark of the Devil's vocals is what makes an album like Coven stand out so much. Probably one of the best vocal performances from any band and artist to come out this year. It is just an amazing, stamina-driven vocal performance for him to not only do his own kind of vocal stylings, but also do the characters. Just be a character in general with a release like Coven. It's just amazing stuff. I think this is an amazing album in its own right. I don't really know if this is the best Cult of Ghoul record, but it's definitely another standalone sort of release. So, number 5 on my list is Cult of Ghoul with Coven, or Evil Ways Instead of Love. Coming in at number 3, Recluse, Stillbirth in Bethlehem. I don't really think I've had a real opportunity to talk in depth about Recluse here on this channel. I may have shown tapes and CDs and stuff, but I've never really gotten into too much details. But let me do the best I can here. This is the second Recluse release. Aside from putting out releases like Frozen Blood and the Black Famine demo, Recluse is just nasty, raw, frightening black metal as it can possibly get, and I have been hyped up for a project like this ever since I first heard the demo this project put out. But what makes Stillbirth in Bethlehem so unbelievably scary and frightening is what's being utilized for a release like this. Preferably the people behind a project like this. You have Phil McSorley, who was once involved in Cobalt, and you also have Vlad from Vlad Tepes on vocals. It's just scary. I mean, this is the next evolution of Recluse, and Stillbirth in Bethlehem personifies that to a T. This is some nasty, intolerant, disgusting black metal, and that's what I love about black metal, is for things to be discomforting and queasy. I mean, Canticle of Murder, Wine of Rape, reading off some of these song titles because a lot of these songs are so fucking good. Candlelit Torture, Boiling Children's Genitals. I mean, there isn't a line this band won't cross, and there are plenty of lines to be crossed here with Stillbirth in Bethlehem. But it is just so phenomenal to hear Phil play the music that he does, Vlad sing the vocals that he does, whether they be natural or distorted. It's just scary, and I fucking love this album so much. I honestly look forward to what happens next for a project like Recluse, and if things get even more scary and over the top. That's what something like what Stillbirth in Bethlehem is all about, is being over-the-top black metal, and it's just phenomenal to listen to. I fucking love this project to death, and yeah, that's number 4 on my list, Recluse, Stillbirth in Bethlehem. And by the way, I have the vinyl of this, but I'm going to save that for a future collection video because there's something special about the Recluse vinyl that I want to talk to you in detail about. Now we're getting to top 3 now. Coming in at number 3, Gavora, Hallelujah. We can add this to the list of ever amazing debut albums from 2016. But this is probably one of my absolute favorites. I mean, listening to this album as much as I have has only made me want to put it even higher and higher on my list. Hell, this could even have been Album of the Year material, to be honest. But yeah, Gavora are based out of Canada, and they play this really unorthodox, ritualistic, legitimately satanic style of black metal from the vocal from the vocal work to the riffs to the drumming to the lyrics. The one thing I love the most about Hallelujah is the lyrical content. How serious it is, how elaborate it is. It is just amazing, and it definitely fits the feeling and the content of a release like this. I mean, with songs like The Fire Dwelling Within, Lifting the Veil of Dot, to the 1-2 punch of the last 2 tracks of this record. The 20-minute long track at the end of this album is just so amazing to listen to. I mean, an album like Hallelujah will only further your appreciation for the art and the style of black metal. And I really think that with Hallelujah, a band like Gavora have come full circle. I really appreciate what this band does for black metal, and with this album, only better things are going to go from here. I fucking love this album. I love the lyrics. I love the concepts. I love the themes. I just love what this is all about. So this is number 3 on my list. Gavora of Hallelujah. Coming in at number 2. Antaeus, Condemnation. Most of you who know me personally already know my love and appreciation for a project like Antaeus. It's just really, really over-the-top, insane, fast French black metal. I've loved this band's body of work ever since. Cut Your Flesh and Worship Satan, De Principi Evangelicum, Blood Libels. And finding out about this album, I did not see it coming at all. I was shocked. I had no idea there was even going to be an Antaeus record. And then once I heard, I forget what track it was in question, but once I first heard some of the new material, I was amazed. It just felt like an Antaeus record to me. And getting to listen to this album in full, getting the pre-order to come and arrive, I mean, it was all worth it. Pretty much expect an array of really pained vocals, over-the-top blasting drumming, done by Menthor of Lucifer, incredible guitar playing. I mean, it's just a very simplistic sort of release, but the way Antaeus does it makes it all the more fun and more crazy to listen to. Antaeus are one of my favorite French black metal bands, and with an album like Condemnation, it just goes to show you that there's still something left from this band. Flesh Ritual, the title track, Angels of Despair, Symmetry of Strangers, such amazing, amazing songs to be heard with a release like this. So I'm glad Antaeus put this record out, and I hope they keep on making music. So that's number 2 on my list, Antaeus with Condemnation. Number 1. This is not going to be any surprise to any of you. A lot of you probably knew what my favorite album of this year was, but for those of you who are not in the know, let me tell you right now. My number 1 album of 2016 is Cathedalist with Le Dernier Crépuscule. I have been geeking out about this band ever since I first heard their demo, and once I heard their full-length album, it only made me appreciate what Cathedalist were all about. I meant every single word that I said in my review of this album, and I still stand by it to this very day. No album in 2016 has held that much longevity, staying power, more than Le Dernier Crépuscule. Such a unique, atmospheric, brilliant death metal band. Their vocals, whether they be sung or booming gutturals, to the brilliant fantasy-driven lyrical content, the Zelda stuff, it's just so fun, so geeky, so nerdy, but they make it work. They make this stuff work. With songs like Into the Vaults of Ingurgitating Obscurity, to Void Spawn, to The Voices from Beneath the Well, everyone that's involved in this band is a fucking brilliant genius. The guitar riffs, the soloing, the crystal clear bass, the drumming, the songwriting, the stamina, the will, the power, the strength. Everything about Le Dernier Crépuscule is brilliant to me, and it makes me want to listen to this album more and more and more. This is a very challenging album to listen to, but the rewards will bear fruit once you listen to something like this. I'm very happy that this album came out. I'm very happy that Cathedalists are getting more and more well known and appreciated, and I'm hopeful that in due time a band like Cathedalists will continue to get the praise that they deserve. This is a band that can do no wrong to me, and hopefully they will continue to make great music for many more years to come. And it goes without saying, their guitarist Phil has had a very busy 2016 himself, being involved with many multiple musical projects. But this is the one project that I love more than anything. And that album is Le Dernier Crépuscule by Cathedalist. That is my #1 album of 2016. And that's it. That's my top 10 of 2016. Let me know what your favorite albums of this year have been. Obviously, I may have missed out on something, but hey, shit happens. It happens to every single one of us. Definitely let me know what your favorite albums of 2016 have been. And onward into 2017. There's going to be some great music coming out, and I'm hopeful to share it all with you. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being here. And definitely let's get Total Death in 2017. Great times ahead. So, I'm going to conclude this video. Thanks all for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. And until next time, Armijo out.